when did violence become a tradition in the summer? When did Memorial Day in Chicago become Bloody Memorial Day? Let's talk about it.
Come quietly or there will be trouble.
The trouble with Memorial Day weekend in Chicago, every city has an unspoken calendar, days when you can feel the shift in the air before the news even confirms it. In Chicago, Memorial Day weekend has become one of those days, not because of the parades or the barbecues or the flags or the 3-day sales, but because there's a brace for something else: violence. If you're from Chicago, especially the South or the West Sides, you know what I'm talking about. I'm from Detroit and I lived in Chicago over a decade, and I can feel it. The weather breaks, the coats get put away, the windows roll down, and then it begins. In 2021, Memorial Day weekend in Chicago ended with 39 people shot and 9 people killed. In 2016, 69 people were shot and 6 killed. It's a pattern that stretches back for years and still continues to repeat itself. The numbers fluctuate, but the media headlines don't. Bloody start to summer. Memorial Day mayhem. On Tuesday morning, there's news reports with crime scene tape blowing in the breeze like confetti after a parade. But it wasn't always like this. I came from a time when Memorial Day meant family, your uncle on the grill, your cousin came in from out of town, you saw family you hadn't seen since Christmas. Maybe there was that one auntie that came outside to eat some hot dogs and hamburgers with the rest of the family for a little bit before she went back upstairs. Maybe I'm just talking about my own family there, but we'll ride bikes and run around and dance to music, Michael Jackson dance contest. Memorial Day meant it was the kickoff to summer, the signal that school was almost over and everything was about to open up. But then something changed. Maybe it was slow at first, a shooting down the block, a fight in the park, a cousin who didn't make it to next year's cookout. Then over time, Memorial Day became something different, something darker, a weekend of worry. It's easy to point fingers: gangs, guns, poverty, the city, the cops, the schools, the system. Yeah, and all that plays a role, but beyond all of that, there's something else that we don't talk about enough: tradition. Because violence can become a tradition too. And that's the real trouble. The tradition, the expectation. We've reached the point where some people expect Memorial Day to be violent. They talk about it like it's a season, as if it just happens when the weather turns, a twisted kind of ritual. The media contributes to it. News cameras wait ready on the corners, and they count the bodies like it's sports scores. The other sides of Chicago and downtown, the north side, the north suburbs, they just shake their head at it, and the cycle repeats year after year. It's become a tradition. How can we shift the tradition? Because the same streets where bullets flew is also home to block parties, kickball games, double dutch competitions, and they still are. They're not always just bullets flying. People are having a good time on the same blocks. Then for every headline about shootings, there's 20 people who stepped in to break up a fight, who fed the whole neighborhood from a barbecue grill, who passed out flyers about community events while walking down the block. There is resistance happening, but it doesn't make the news. Teachers checking in on students before the weekend, pastors keeping their churches open late, activists and OGs like somebody I'm talking to later on who connect with people like, nah, not this weekend, not on my watch. Even the young people, they know that this is getting old. Most of them are sick of it and tired of it. They just Might not know how to say it, but if you listen, you can hear them. And maybe that's where we come in. Those of us who remember the old cookouts, who remember the real Memorial Day weekend, those of us who saw the turn happen in real time. Maybe it's time we start telling those stories again, the cookout, the bike races, the Michael Jackson dance contest. Not as fairy tales, but as reminders, proof that there is another way, proof that our neighborhoods were never meant to be war zones. Memorial Day should be about remembrance, about honor and sacrifice, not adding new names to that list. So yeah, there's a trouble with Memorial Day in Chicago, and it's real, it's tragic, it's frustrating, it's layered, but it's fixable. All it takes is enough of us deciding that we're tired of that tradition. Let's start a new tradition, a peaceful. I saw it happen in real time. A couple of shootings stopped all block parties, and everybody started to be fearful instead of enjoying our community. And we all enjoyed the community, but it was this turning in to our own families instead of opening things up to everybody. People became more insulated. And I believe that the media has something to do with that as well, because these stories started just to be so prevalent that people started to be scared. You know, I enjoyed my childhood, even in the 80s, you know, when the crack era and all those kind of things. And people paint that picture as though it was always bad, but honestly, the bad was just like this much in my life, this much. But playing basketball at the center, and we had our fun. But people remember the bad. Even far as a writer and as a storyteller, you tell the stories that get the most attention, and people's attention go towards the bad. Failure is more interesting. That's what one of my the author that I listened to, he said failure is more interesting, despair is more interesting, violence is super interesting. But we got to change the story. We got to tell some good stories too. So thank you for listening.